I'm here shooting my video for my Geography 227 class at Western Kentucky University for the fall 2017 semester. This project is something we did over the semester. We had to take about 100 pictures, or add 100 pictures of different species of animals, plants, and insects that we observed throughout the semester. So that entailed us to get out in nature and kind of make these observations of all these different plants, which was kind of refreshing. For the busy semester, it's easy to sometimes get caught up in school and get stuck inside all the time. So it's nice to kind of have to get out, do something for school, and be out in nature. I got to see quite a few very cool, very different animals that I don't typically see. I saw a snapping turtle actually on this golf course that I'm walking on right now. So yeah, I got to see a lot of different species, and not just did I get to see them and take pictures of them, but I was also able to do some research, because our project entailed that we create a story map online. And so in doing so, for each species that we observed, we had to do a little bit of research on them and learn a few things about these different species that we looked up. As for example, hostas, plants, are edible. I learned that, which is pretty interesting. And the fact that earthworms, the common earthworm that you find out in the wild, the one you hook onto your fishing hook when you go fishing, can live up to 6 years in the wild, as long as they stay away from the fishermen. So it was very interesting to get to get out and get some pictures. It was also refreshing for me because when I was younger, much younger, I used to do a lot of hiking and camping with my father, which I remember pretty well, and my grandfather. And we would go bird hunting and just be in nature, and that was always nice. And I kind of got that feeling again of being out in the wilderness, being out in nature and getting to see all these different animals, which was also pretty interesting, pretty a fun part of the project. My wife and I would go out on weekends, and we would go hiking, which was fun, to get out and get some pictures. Or even if we were out doing yard work around the house, we would get out and get some pictures of anything that we found out in the yard or down in the dirt. I also went to Pennsylvania over the semester, and so I was able to get a few pictures of different species even outside of Kentucky. I was able to get some pictures from Pennsylvania and around the Maryland area, which was also pretty neat to kind of get out and away from Kentucky and see some different species outside of our state. We tend, like I said, enjoy hiking, so we would go to Mammoth Cave, and that was always a great opportunity to view different species there. Plenty of wildlife out there. One thing that I've learned about at least capturing species, observing species in the wilderness, is plants are definitely by far the easiest species to observe. They obviously don't move very much. And birds, fish, definitely for this time of the semester, there wasn't very much fishing going on. But birds as well, it's very hard to observe birds. They don't really stay still like most everything else. But I tried to get a lot of biodiversity in my observations. I tried to not just stick to plants, which would have been very easy, but I tried to get out and I tried to get some some animals, you know, I tried to get squirrels, I tried to get rabbits. Like I mentioned, got a snapping turtle. Tried to pay close attention and um, uh, capture different insects. That was another interesting observation using the iNaturalist app, which you have to be very careful because after you take these observations, it gives you suggestions of what you may have seen. I took a picture of a ladybug larva, which I've never seen before. And using that iNaturalist app, I tried to classify my observation. I tried to identify my observation. And if you've never seen a ladybug larva, it does not look like a ladybug. So the iNaturalist app suggested it was a ladybug, and I had to do some serious research on my own to confirm that it was in fact a ladybug, but just the larva form. So the iNaturalist app, which is what we use to gather these observations, was definitely an extremely useful tool, and in and of itself has plenty of information on the species that we observed, as well as a great community of people who are very passionate and very helpful as well about identifying your observations and even telling you some interesting stuff about what you observed. And so all in all, I think this was quite an interesting project, and I really enjoyed getting to get out this semester and be out in wilderness and get the pictures and make the observations that I did.